Okay, chat, let's do a little alchemy, huh? I've got some Dargans, I've got some ramp spells, I've got some removal spells, I got a bunch of beautiful borderless cards. This deck felt very good in the first few weeks of Alchemy. I'm interested to see how the Fearsome Whelp nerf plus the Town-Razer Tyrant nerf feels like it impacts this at all. So let's go ahead and dive on into some games with this and see how it goes. Yeah, nice, Martian. Unfortunately, in terms of timing, our next Hoaglandia Open is the day after Horizon releases, so I'm only going to get to do one all-day stream for it. And then we have the Open the following day, but it is what it is. So the 23 months, Sunny. Well, I hope you're staying safe in the Midwest. You're getting some snow dumped on you as well. So, Goldspan has an arena logo on it because it is an updated version of a paper Magic the Gathering card, whereas the direct-to-digital cards do not, because they're not an updated version, they're just a direct-to-digital. Is it a snowpocalypse? It's the most snow we've had here in Central Illinois since I moved here. I don't know that we're quite at snowpocalypse levels, though. I think we're supposed to get a little over a foot when all is said and done. The next open is going to be Alchemy on February 19th. I think doing Alchemy right after a set release makes the most sense. I'm gonna hold on to Town-Razer here for a second and see if I can tag a dual land or something with it. I have a cover on top of my egress window, so unfortunately, I am unable to show you any snow from my basement office. May I have Christy take a picture of the outside? The old wifeski poo. Take care of that for us. The old 8-point swing. Feels good, man. I've only seen it in the movies and I'm not sure it's real. Mood. Read. I think the design team did a really good job at a lot of their updates, but I really don't like the change to Town-Razer Tyrant. I feel like they just made this card higher variance, and that's not the type of change I like to see in my card game. Magic's a game that has enough shit variance that making this card's quality vary wildly based on what lands my opponent happened to draw in a game is pretty frustrating. I think they should have left this with the ability to target any land and just changed how it impacts things. It's a little bit dangerous because they could draw a dragon out of my deck and play it, but I think I just want to try and put lethal into play. I have the creature land hiding in our mana base here that can finish them. Them firing up Den of the Bugbear here is actually really good for us because it means they're not going to be able to play whatever they draw with Rada. And that my creature land is lethal here. Yeah, they wouldn't be dead on board if they had not attacked with Den of the Bugbear. Yeah, I agree that this card is one that feels pretty lackluster in my experience playing with it. I've been very, very whelmed by it. I'm glad you're back to feeling somewhat normal, Vanu. Hope your Thursday is going reasonably. I think we trim Fearsome Whelp in this matchup because it could just die to removal. I think I just want a bunch of cheap removal spells here. Is Valorous Stance good here? It doesn't really kill most of their stuff, right? Those are other two trims. This gives us 10 pieces of cheap removal here. It's probably fine. Like to stick this one in a hole in the ground, please. Just take this out now while they're That's sweet, buzzed it. I know most of their tracks are stream safe, so again, killing this at sorcery speed so it doesn't flip to night also doesn't give them the chance to play protection spells on it. Please fire up Den of the Bugbear. They have 3 cards in hand, so I assume they have other stuff to do. They do not. All right. No, I need to start untap. Thank you for the reminder. Even though, actually, you know what? I'm actually just gonna disable the Runeterra deck tracker because it hasn't worked all week and it still unloads the Arena one, which is really obnoxious. Hey, thanks for the half a year, Cedrus. Appreciate you keeping me around. Did I miss your 41 months, Boshek? If I did, I'm sorry. If I didn't, thanks again. Oh, I wonder if their hand's just like all Doomblades, huh? Could just be an oops all Doomblade situation. We unfortunately have an oops all land situation going on ourselves. Not having a spell and flipping them tonight is super unfortunate. Yeah, this game's probably over at this point. Just can't beat this card crunching us down. Our deck has a lot of utility lands in it, but sometimes you just flood out and die anyways. Yeah, we're actually only on 23 lands, 26 if you count these. It's actually one of the real upsides to playing this archetype. Spirit Island, that's not one that I've heard of. Okay. Turn 3, turn 4. Curving right on out the door. I guess they showed us 2 mana destroy target artifacts. If they return to nature this, we won't get to play on curve, but yeah, it's definitely a keep. With the Temple of the Dragon Queen and Forsaken Crossroads, this deck has such good mana. You get to play like 16 dual lands. Alright, I think I was gold spanning first regardless to bait removal, but with the Dragonfire drawn, I'm definitely gold spanning first, because now I can also Dragonfire this turn. It has been a while since the pink hair days, Toast Smasher. Thanks for the 34 months. Yeah, I've been here full time for over 4 years now. January was my year 4 of full-time content stuff. We keep a removal spell on top here. If they kill this, we could dig to another threat with this. Thanks for the 7 months, Sassy. I really appreciate the prime. Thanks for keeping me around. Adult Gold is really good in these creature matchups. 4 years or about 1.5 pandemics, dude. Going on, F Dragon. So 27 months. I believe Jedi the Fallen Order is on my look for a sale list. That's the most recent of those, right? I've heard good things about that one, if so. Yeah, sounds good. So, tapped, untapped, untapped, dragon. Yeah, I prefer to get games on the PlayStation if available there, as opposed to PC. I think red-white tokens is fine in Historic. Get to scry here, give ourselves a better chance at a land for next turn. Perfect. Oh, is it? Oh, I need to put my new payment information. I'm gonna write a note. Jedi Fallen Order on PS Store. It's gonna be a little bit till we get to it, because we're doing Horizon as our next variety game, and that's gonna be a long one. I am not going to play Red-White Midrange and Historic until after the new set releases, because Red-White Midrange and Historic definitely wants to be playing the new White Scavenging Ooze. It's very good. Yeah, my problem with Souls-like games isn't the concept of the actual Souls gameplay so much as it is the shit lazy design of you can't adjust the difficulty. I don't want to feel like a game is wasting my time. And the way Dark Souls is designed, it definitely feels like it wants to waste your time. That one. Get rid of its attack. I think we're in for all the Dargans. Here there be Dargans. They're just like super dead here, right? We decline this. And then pre-combat, I get to do this, do Town-Razer, and then even if they trade with Goldspan, I still have another treasure to play Moonveil. Okay, now they had Town-Razer on top of Torval, which makes me think I want these Valorous Stances. It's probably still a Burning Hands and a Flame Blessed Bolt angle, and I think trimming the Whelp still makes sense. Just want to be more interactive, less linear. Similar to if you watched the green-black mid-range deck in Historic yesterday, I think just often trimming our Accelerant to board inappropriate interaction makes a lot of sense in this deck. I think this is a portable whole matchup. Probably not. We will trim a Nadaar since it doesn't attack well into their 4/4s all the time. Don't want to get gummed up on them. Umbra, thanks for the 15 months. Welcome back. Tsushima is good. I felt like the characters were engaging, and the landscapes are really beautiful in that game. Yeah, I think if I had a top 10 list, Tsushima would probably make it onto it. There is a fundamental difference, Patrick, between mediocre interfaces and games intentionally making you repeat content as a punishment for failure. The latter is something that I won't tolerate. I also give things like classic Pokemon games a pass because there's a difference between a game from 20 years ago not adhering to reasonable game design and a game that came out 5 years ago not containing reasonable game design. I give the game from 20 years ago a pass because we didn't know then what we know now. Pokemon Sword and Shield. Do you have a specific example then? Because I don't really think the Sword and Shield is too menu clunky. I played through all the Sword and Shield a couple of times because I played through with the kids too. That's just like how JRPGs work. So it sounds like you don't like JRPGs, which is fine. But I don't think anything is inherently overly clunky that shouldn't be. Maybe you can give me a specific that you feel like is a design failure that could be done better. Because I can't think of one offhand. So this means I get to play 4-drop into 5-drop on curve. I think we want a Town-Razer first here. If we get like Brittle Blasted here, I'm gonna be pretty sad. That's basically getting Brittle Blasted. I mean, we weren't comparing difficulties here. Like, I don't think anybody reasonable is going to compare a Pokemon game to Dark Souls in terms of difficulty. The comparison that was being made was one that I felt was reasonable, which was, you know, wasting time. And someone said, the person in chat specifically said they weren't happy with the menus in the Pokemon game. To which I asked for a specific example. I mean, Patrick, can you offer up an example? Otherwise, I'm just gonna time you out and move on from this. It's like, I'm fine with you making a qualifying statement I don't understand, but if you're not gonna provide an example, like, you're just like, looking to spew. Double spelling here and flipping their Torval back is really gas. Surprised they didn't have another plummet since they elected not to level Ranger's class last turn. I was kind of expecting this to die. I think I'm actually just gonna go ahead and sacrifice this. Gosh, I think we just stance the Town-Razer, right? And then get in here. Everything about the game is just navigating menus. So yeah, that's how JRPGs work. So my statement was, it sounds like you just don't like JRPGs, which is fine. Like, it's fine to just like not care for menu-driven turn-based games, but that's how turn-based games work. You have menus to navigate your turns. Pegasus, thanks for the 13 months. Welcome back. Their Town-Razer being a 5/5 is quite the brick wall. It's fucking different, Patrick, you bad faith prick, because the not having difficulty options is an ableist thing that explicitly excludes people that can't accomplish something with physical dexterity requirements that are unnecessary to have. Whereas whether or not you like JRPGs that involve clicking through menus to take your turns is subjective. That's how it's fucking different. Good lord, Magic players. Come on. How is that different? Stop it. Fuck off. How is a physical dexterity requirement different than subjective preference? I don't know. How is it? You tell me. It's like asking someone who can't walk up a flight of stairs, why do you prefer a ramp? Because they can't walk up the stairs, you asshole. Maybe I'm not supposed to crack that because the adult gold dragon would draw 2 cards. We're actually kind of dead here, right? They've just gone super wide. The fifth stat line on here is just super brutal. Yeah, that's actually a great comparison from Crimhorn. Not liking the 2-minute run back to a Dark Souls boss would be a subjective thing that you're like, this just isn't my flavor, I don't enjoy this. Calling out that they don't allow accessibility options to allow a wider range of people to play and have their game be accessible is different. That's not a subjective taste thing. That's an exclusionary thing. That's actually a great comparison. I appreciate that one. People are asking about the current state of snow where I live. This is my backyard. This is like a 2.5 foot tall bench that you can like sit on in my backyard. This is the playground. Some of this is drifting. We haven't actually had 2 feet of snow, but it's blowing around. It looks like it's slowing down. We're supposed to get like another 6 inches over the course of the day and then another inch tomorrow. The sand's great on the play. Yeah, that's exactly it, Telrand. And see, like, this really kind of highlights my comment on not liking the Town-Razer Tyrant rebalance change. Because, like, this card is just exactly like it was before the rebalance because my opponent just happened to draw different lands this game. This change just made this card high variance. It didn't actually make it, like... Yeah, it just made it high variance. I really am not a fan of the rebalance they did to this card. I hope they keep trying and do something different with it, because well, the way they changed it this time through, I think, is not good. For the people in chat, we're gonna move on from Dark Souls topics. Remember, if you want to rant about stuff 24/7, there's a Discord server for that, for all things gaming related and all that jazz. But we're gonna slide along from there. I'm not new. I know this song and dance will go on for hours if we don't explicitly move on. Here, definitely just gonna kill this. Yeah, we played Jace Lux this morning and it was excellent again. Really happy with that deck. I think we are just gonna continue to go into the Pandelver here. I don't think we're in an aggressive enough spot here to go into the Tomb of Annihilation. And I would love me an Adult Gold Dragon off the top, thanks. 2 of their lands have Town-Razer Tyrant triggers on them right now because they were unlucky and drew non-basics. This game's probably over. I think the balance changes I would like to see to this card is I think it should be any land, even non-basics, but I think it should either only deal 1 damage or it should only do the 2 to you when you tap that land for mana. So it shouldn't just be this is something that always happens. Yeah, still remove abilities. That's a given. Oh, if I would have kept the land, I could have made a treasure and killed one of their ground blockers with the Burning Hands. Yeah, I would have kept this alive. That was a mistake. I should have just paid 2. The life didn't really matter for me. They're dead anyways, but that was a mistake on my part for sure. All right, 2-0 against red-green decks. Not to discourage anyone from watching my card review, because it should be fun, but man, the designs in this set are kind of wild. I think it's going to be pretty difficult to pin down what's going to be good, bad, or otherwise. I think this is definitely going to be a set where more than usual, we're going to need to really play with the cards. Look at the creature cards in target opponent's hand. Whenever you sacrifice another clue, draft a card. Alright, sure. Yeah, I agree with that, Lucas. I think Neon has some of the most interesting designs they've had in them in a very long time. When do you think it'll be? Usually we get a full spoiler on Thursday, I believe. I actually don't know, offhand. That's probably right. I actually don't know when we get a full spoiler. They'll probably, does anybody know what's the full spoiler day? It'll likely be the day after that. There's actually a bunch of, like, removal and pseudo-removal in this spellbook, huh? Like a pretty reasonable magic card. So, the Alchemy component to new sets for people that haven't been following on release news will come approximately 1 month after the base standard set. So we'll get a set of rebalances along with new direct-to-digital cards about 4 weeks after the set release.
For the sake of all Innistrad, my will must...
Which, Wizards of the Coast, if you're out there, it would be really, really nice if you would communicate to us in advance when that was coming, so those of us that are trying to put on tournaments for the community can schedule them at times of great hype when people want to play and watch. Thanks. I need to figure out when our March open is going to be. I have another Nadaar, so I'm fine with this trade. We're just gonna bolt this land in and play a Town-Razer here. If we draw untapped land next turn, we can go Goldspan into second Town-Razer because of this treasure. We need an untapped land, though, which we don't have a ton of those, because we do have a lot of, creature lands. It's like, I think we're on 6 creature lands, so, like, there's a good chance that even if we draw a land, it's coming in tapped.
Dire times call for dire tactics.
Card image gallery will be completed February 4th. Good to know. Thank you for the info. I'm trying to attack Sorin with the haste creature here. Hopefully they just have a draw 2 here so this can connect. They could have a removal spell though. Wow! Punished for not playing Adult Gold, huh? A lot of these Rite of Oblivion decks don't have room to also play Vanishing Verse. It's pretty unfortunate that they are.
My ways are not for the weak.
Take Mr. Sorin off alt tier, he says, before they have another removal spell. Wow! They hit one of the good draft cards. Damn, fam, I think we're dead. That's brutal.
Nothing on Innistrad is free.
Yeah, this takes our Town-Razer. Okay, so you're saying there's a chance.
These wounds will...
I think these Meat Hook Massacre decks definitely feel like the deck to beat in this format until proven otherwise. They're feeling very good into anything remotely fair you want to be doing.
You wish to know secrets? Very well.
Alright, and now if they meet Hook here to kill the dragon, they lose their board too, so I'm pretty okay with that exchange. Probably just see Rite of Oblivion pop off, I imagine. Yeah, Anchorage is buried at this point. Alright, so this is a matchup where our removal spells seem not great. This is not meaningful protection because they have a bunch of exile stuff. And I want my Spellbinders and Reidanes. It's an Inferno matchup. It might be, huh? It's a threat that's really hard for Meathook Massacre to kill. And trim the Whelp. They're pretty likely to die before they get to trigger. Just want to be as high quality threat dense as possible. It's very good. You played Wingspan. I demoed Wingspan at the last Gen Con I went to in the before times, and it was really sweet. It wasn't one Christy I ended up buying, but it's on our list of things for sure. This is great because with this 2-1 in play, if they kill this, Moonveil kills their 2-1. Yeah, Wingspan's a board game. Oh, I guess they probably just have an exile target thing, huh? And again, just to point out the kind of frustrating aspect with this Town-Razer change, last game, my opponent had 5 non-basics as their first 5 lands. This game, they happened to draw on 2 basics, so the power level of my card is drastically different. And this type of inconsistency, even inside of the same matchup, like, I actually hadn't thought about it until we played against these 2-color decks, but they actually just made this card incredibly high variance in a way that's pretty frustrating and uninteresting. Pretty unhappy with this rebalance overall. Was not a good design change in my opinion, having experienced it here. Yeah, I'd have preferred it nerfed to 1 damage just so my card always does what it does, even if what it's doing is slightly worse. Thanks for the follow, Jordash. Okay, chat, what does this attack mean? This attack could mean two things. What are they? This is a quiz time. I know. I know the answer. Thanks for the 7 months. It could be Meat Hook Massacre. Could be just transforming this into a 4/4. Could be the 1/1 and sacrifice it. I'm actually kind of surprised they didn't hold the 4/4 on defense. If they get rid of my Orb of Dragonkind here, I'm actually in kind of a bad spot. Since I kept a 5-drop on top of my deck. And we could see that. They have a few ways to exile target permanent. Deal. I mean, they don't... Well, I guess they do know all the cards in my hand. Are they also getting rid of my orb? Getting rid of the orb is less good now that they gave me Town-Razer back to hand. Sure. You got me. Okay, so we're gonna Goldspan, attack for 6, play Orb of Dragonkind. They're gonna give this -4 attack, I assume. They could also be giving this lifelink. I don't think I want to make a treasure here. I think I want to have 2 dragons that can trade with this and get my gold back. We're probably going to be sacrificing this to dig for a dragon either way. Yes, yeah, a dragon Mindstone is a good Orb of Dragonkind comparison for sure. I will not be attending Gen Con or any other large person events until my youngest is able to be vaccinated. And she's currently under 2, so I don't think that's going to be by this summer. I would not really fault anyone at this point who's going that's been responsible and done their due diligence. Get your shot, wear a mask, and go enjoy your life. But if you have people around you that still can't protect themselves to the best of our abilities yet, I would be waiting. I know I personally am for that reason. Pfizer is applying for under 5? That's huge. Chat, they're using our adult gold dragon against us, and I don't like it. All these Rites of Oblivion just sitting here. Do I want to chump this off to gain 4? Could do. I think having really expensive cosmetics is always a fine thing for any of these free-to-play games. It's like Pokemon Unite has $40 character skins, and there were a bunch of people who complained about that being a thing, but I think these games can and should charge whatever they want for cosmetics. Things that don't directly impact the quality of the gameplay you experience are fine to charge whatever you want. We do die to a removal spell this turn with this sequence from me, so maybe it's wrong. Every Alchemy deck I've played for the last month has felt like it has a bad matchup into these black-white meat hook decks. This one's actually felt like the closest of them all, and it still did not feel good. In fact, this build got made better by the fact that Triumphant Adventurer got a buff. My wife got me a good comparison photo, by the way. So this is my backyard right now for people asking about the snow. And this is the backyard during the summer. The corn being gone is definitely our backyard feels a lot bigger when there's not corn. Also, we just recently got the patio installed this summer, so the summer picture has a bunch of dead grass and regrowing grass still. There is really live grass under there. Chat, I say this often, but if you haven't considered mid-sized town living, I would highly recommend it. My home is just over 3,000 square feet, and we paid under $300,000 for it. With the current surge in the market, it's probably closer to 350 or maybe 375. But still cheaper than a condo in a major city. I grew up in the Chicagoland area, and I don't think I'd ever go back to big city living. Yeah, my house alone would be $1 million plus in a big city, and if it had the lot size that I have, it would be a multi-million-dollar home. Our lot is very large. Dear opponent, please don't kill my whelp. How are you supposed to eat at a bunch of different places every weekend in a small town? Bloomington, Normal, Illinois has the most restaurants per capita of any city in the United States. We have an incredible amount of places to eat. That's why I wouldn't recommend a small town, but like a mid-sized town. My town has like 100,000 people that live here. It's a good size and place. Am I dragon firing something this turn? I think I'm dragon firing something this turn. This might be, I think it's second whelp into Dragonfire. If you like to work in the insurance industry, there's two different major insurance companies that have headquarters in Bloomington where I live. Country and State Farm. There are also a couple of universities here. Yeah, someone asked about the noise of the harvest. It's usually not. We have a mix of both Applebee's quality places and good organic one-off places. Is this tapped? I forget if this is tapped. Let's find out. It's not. Good stuff. I'm going up to 15. They have 9, 12, 14 attack, and all of this is a blocker. I think we go Moonveil into Fearsome, discard, draw. It's actually the first time we've activated this in an hour. Now, they are going to be able to lifelink on the backswing, so they're not just dead. Oh, I guess they need to remove something, or they're just dead. Nah, I said it and then kind of removed it. Wow, that's really good. Although I guess Brutal Cathar can't attack into my 4/4. Or it can. Sure. Oh, am I dead? It can attack because I'm dead. That's sad. Man, exactly dead? Brutal. The brutal Cathar bought them exactly the tempo they needed that game. It's pretty unfortunate for us. I don't know if this is a Burning Hands matchup. It might be. Fearsome Whelp getting tempoed felt really bad. Stance doesn't protect our stuff or kill most of their things. We board like this. I think I want the extra shocks here for killing Cathars. Was it my first summer driving as a teenager was that summer that gas prices like broke $4 a gallon a decade and a half ago or so. So higher. I'm mostly numb to higher gas prices. bottoming everything that's on the land here. If only the US had good public transportation. Many of the mid-size and big cities in the United States have reasonable public transportation. The United States as a whole is just really large in order to have public transportation across the entire thing. I think I'm just burning handsing this and attacking them. I'm gonna attack first, because if they want to trade, I can just play Nadaar out of my hand. Thanks for the follow, Heitzel. I expect the high-speed rail between Austin, Dallas, and Houston to be ready right about the time the Texas power grid can handle winter storms. Alright, so I think we orb into Moonveil here. So, Europe is large, but it's also my understanding that Europe doesn't have vast amounts of nothingness like the United States does, right? Like, there's huge tracts of the United States that just are empty land, chat. Like, getting high-speed rail between, like, Chicago and somewhere like the West Coast, you're going through a lot of nothing. These removal spells in my hand aren't particularly good. I'm going to discard them, I think. Whoa, 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 Karma Nova. Twitch chat is an impressive collection of doctor, lawyer, astronauts, public transportation experts. We are incredibly qualified to have this conversation here. Heitzel and Roku, thanks for the follows. According to Google, the US is 47% empty space. Is there a comparable metric for Europe? Legion Angel is an incredibly high variance card. I assume they're gonna play one and have another copy here. Let's start with drawing with this and see what we fish up. Gold sounds lovely. My body is ready to get snakeskin veiled again and concede. The EU's population density is 3.5 times higher than the US. Okay, so while obviously Valorous Stance isn't great for us here either, it's better than Snakeskin Veil because this is still just a 4/4, so we can keep attacking into it. So Valorous Stance isn't quite we concede territory, although the Legion Angel follow-up here might be. Do they have a 4th one in their sideboard? They do. This is another Magic design that I'm really just not a fan of. It's so incredibly high variance. Especially when people are greedy and play it like this. Like this person gave up 3 sideboard slots for upside when they draw their one of. The 2/2 split is something I've played on occasion that's pretty reasonable. Oh, I forgot Captain blocks this. We're dead. I mean, it's a perspective of, do you want to high roll or do you not want to high roll? If you're a gambling addict that wants your cards to be as high variance as possible for the resources you're investing into them, you should play a 1/3 split. If you're someone that wants your decks and cards to be more consistent, you should play a 2/2 split. I'm planning to play Brawl this week. I am not. Brawl content is just not particularly popular, so I don't imagine that I'm going to be playing it unless I have viewer donations to play it. Both Alchemy and Historic are consistently more watched by a good margin. Of course, we're gambling addicts for Magic players. Big true. I don't think I can keep that with no payoff. Yeah, this is reasonable. I'll bottom a Shatterskull. Is Standard a dumpster fire post bans? I'm not going to make any statements about Standard from a balance perspective. I will just say anecdotally, I played some Standard, and playing against unnerfed Azeka's Chariot and unnerfed Goldspan Dragon isn't particularly interesting. If you don't have a 1/3 Legion Angel split, are you even playing Magic? That's true. That's true. You want a low variance game, go play chess, Hogland. This is Magic the Gathering, and we'll gamble like we want to. Throw the Fallen Head scheme. My Magic plans for the foreseeable future are to do 1 Historic deck and 1 Alchemy deck each day that I'm live. Seems to result in the best metrics overall for me. Well, unfortunately, we've got our high variance Town-Razer Tyrant here. I'm just playing it out as a 4/4 because it's what we can do. Feels bad, man. We will get new direct-to-digital Alchemy cards plus rebalances approximately 1 month after the standard set releases. Yeah, the unnerfed version of this card would have dealt probably 6 to 8 damage over the course of this game, though. Big difference. Is a month long enough for the format to settle? So, whenever people talk about sample sizes and stuff, and is there enough information, you have to understand the vast amounts of data Wizards gets in terms of matches played every day on Magic Arena. Like, there are people playing a ton of matches of Magic, chat.
I will get what I want.
Okay, this double block implies there's not a meat hook in my future, he says before getting top decked.
A pity our time is over. And subservience will be rewarded.
I don't need the reduction on this anymore. Let's just get smashing. Well, so that's the beautiful thing, Salami. If you're someone that plays Magic and you think things changing after 4 weeks is too fast for you, you can just play Standard, or you can just play Historic. There's other options. Alchemy is hopefully going to be a format where... Now, I can't play around shit, Tumos. Like, if they have a sweeper next turn, the follow-up Nadaar's not about to beat Mascot Exhibition and the rest of their full hand. The way you beat these black decks is by crossing your fingers, clenching your butt cheeks, and hoping you get a little bit lucky. These creature decks are just so rancid into these black decks. Like they get back their Planeswalker. What's my 3/3 gonna do? Ain't gonna do shit. Oh, you think 4 weeks is too long? I think expecting Wizards to do balance changes faster than 4 weeks is not realistic. I'd be really happy if they do it in 4 weeks. Yeah, I think it's a big problem with modern Magic design. Wizards of the Coast went from, we're not going to print Wrath of God anymore, just 4 mana destroy all the creature effects, to we're going to print sweepers that technically cost more than 4 mana, but have an incredibly overbearing extra effects on it that make it even worse for you. Part of me wonders if the creature-centric Magic the Gathering I grew up loving is just gone and never coming back. It definitely doesn't feel like any of the modern Magic designs really support that type of gameplay well. How do you come back from the Black Sweepers? You basically don't. Meathook Massacre gains them enough life. You don't. The answer isn't that you come back for them, is that you go over the top of them with something else that's bigger. Yeah, you play a different deck is the question. Is the answer, sorry. This'll be the 3rd or 4th deck we've played in the last week where, like, it played kind of good, sweet, interesting games until we queued into these black decks and we just don't feel competitive against the black decks. You know what's actually thinking, and someone who's been playing Magic for a while, correct me if I'm wrong, but the last time I think that Magic Arena's formats didn't feel like a hellscape of control decks, it was when Field of the Dead was standard legal, right? Am I misremembering that, or is that accurate? It was the summer where we had Vampire aggro versus Scapeshift Field of the Dead, right? Because the Vampire aggro deck was like an honest creature deck that could keep up. That's what my memory says. Man, my hand has enough gas left over in it that if we draw land, we could probably keep up with a Blood on the Snow next turn. Or a Meat Hook Massacre. I think Field of the Dead would be an incredibly good unban for Historic. I don't even think it needs to be nerfed. I think Field of the Dead has the potential to single-handedly stop Historic from being a hyper-control-centric format. It's a card that attacks on a very unique axis.
My power is for annihilation.
I think I'm just going back into the Pandelver here. Afternoon, Jace. We get to play Spellbinder post-combat here to maybe stall a Blood on the Snow. I think we are in for all the 4 Power Haste Dragons here. This game's looking pretty good. We might finally get on the scoreboard in this matchup. I'm really surprised they didn't double block my Goldspan here.
We will slay our enemies.
Hello, darkness, my old friend. How it sucks to meet with you again. I mean, I'm just supposed to top right here, right?
Oh yes, I know the knowledge you seek.
Like, how do we ever get through this? I guess they could brick on lands for a little bit, but like, even the eye twitch, just like, this card's probably not playable, huh? If the matchup we wanted in are eye twitch matchups. Oh god, and now there's a Blood Artist? So like, creatures dying just means that they're gonna gain infinite life back on top of the Meat Hook triggers. Well, so that's the thing, Just Not. And this is why this archetype is so good. I know you're saying we need Heliod's Intervention as kind of a joke, but destroying these enchantments doesn't even really accomplish anything, because even if you kill them, they already generated their value, right? Like, they already did the thing that you're playing them to do. You don't really catch up by taking the enchantments off the board. You just fall further behind because you spent a card to answer their thing that already did what its goal was. Yeah, that's G-Arc summary there is accurate context. They're basically enchantment sorceries that happen to be enchantments. Like, I've attacked with how many 4/4s this game, and their life total is actually just going up. I'm all alone. There's no one here beside me. Yeah, all right, good. We are just I mean, if they keep breaking on the 6th land tier, we might have a shot, he said before realizing that environmental sciences gained them another 2 life. Cinderclasms slow them down. Are you watching the same game I'm watching? What about this needs to be slowed down? The problem isn't that they're too fast. The problem is that the game goes long, and they just have infinite value in sweepers as the game goes long. Our deck isn't capable of outgrinding what this deck is doing. We have to try and get under them, and like, they just have all these cheap blockers and meat hooks and blood artists, right? So it's not really possible to get under them. Like here, right? They're about to gain 6 more life here. They're at 17 and I'm at 8, and they have 2 spiders now.
Subservience will be rewarded.
All right, you know, it's just how it be sometimes. Yeah, I mean, they attacked us for like 2 damage, right?
My power, do what I demand. Only a fool strikes a goddess.
Alright, I'm done. Let's play some historic shit. Don't play